What is going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Our Smooth Club, the show where everyday men discuss everyday topics. I'm Arrington Gavin, and alongside with me, again, are my good friends, business owners, Mr. Jonathon Jones, the Dapper Luke, and Mr. Andrae Marable. Fellas, another episode, another day. How you guys doing today?
Good, man. Glad to be back.
Hey, man, that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, look, I want to start this conversation off by talking, going into sports. Something we all love. So let me backtrack. I see collegiate coaches, right? People like Nick Saban. Nick Saban gets paid 10 plus million a year off of coaching, right? I look at the players who does all the, what he gets paid
physical
for.
work.
Basically,
putting their bodies on the line.
And I'm like, well, do they receive any money? No. Do they get any of that contract that Saban gets? No.
Yeah.
Guys, my question for you is, do you think collegiate athletes, not just in football, basketball, but all collegiate athletes, do you think they should receive pay for what they do at the universities?
Yes. I mean, for me, I would say yes, right? Now, the one tricky thing when it comes to pay, right? Like, how much is enough? Should we all be paid equally? Like, should, the sports that don't get as much views or as much money for the school get paid, right? So for my quick answer is yes, right? Because I always feel as though within sports, right, you are doing a service, and a lot of times you're putting your body at risk, right? And you should be compensated.
Absolutely.
Right? Now, the degree, yes, it's an amazing thing, right? We all, to some point would like to have a degree, but some of the major athletes, basketball, football, the ones that I'm thinking about, soccer, like they can go outside of college and make a living, without the degree. So the degree
baseball
is not as important.
Baseball?
Correct.
Yeah, baseball as well.
You know what I'm saying? So basically, if you want them to stay at that institution, they're making that institution millions and millions of dollars, yes, they should have some type of compensation to themselves other than a degree. Because honestly, you can get a degree at 40, you can get a degree at 50. You can use that time that you're putting your body in the line, go get compensated, and come back and get your degree later if you really want a degree.
Exactly.
You know what I'm
degree
saying?
can always come. I'll look at it like, okay, you watch the Olympics, so watch the swimmers. There's some swimmers that compete in the Olympics. Oh, I want to go medal. I think I'm gonna go to college now. Like there's some kids there's some swimmers that retire and then go into collegiate. And I'm just
I didn't even know that.
They do that. And the answer, I'm like, why? Because I'm a millionaire now. Why? Because you see, they can't receive any pay. They can compete in professional events like swim events and still represent the school, but they can't receive any pay. And it's weird how it kind of goes because
it's amateurism.
Exactly.
Amateur.
And I'm just
You're
like,
an amateur.
What? But personally, I just think, I do believe all athletes should get paid the same. At the time, before I would say I was guilty because, I have my fiance swimming in college. So I got, she definitely, chewed something into me because I said, football players bring the most revenue at the university. So I think they should get paid, but they should maybe get a little more than the say crew or the swim team. But I say, you know what? I'm sorry I even said that because I think all athletes should get paid the same. I'm thinking like, at least $200 a week because a lot of those athletes that come to play at those big time schools, they come there for a reason. They come to, those big time schools and say, look, I want to play sports. I want to pursue, a pro level. A lot of them come from low income areas where they can't afford that. And I think JJ, we had the conversation like maybe they should depict it on the way of like where the living expenses, right?
Yeah,
but
like,
I do think that what we about to say, I'm gonna cut you off.
I mean, I agree. Like it's just like they definitely should get paid, but it's just so many variables of like what it should be, like how much they should give. It's just so many different variables. But like the biggest thing is like you look at COVID, like they were pushing for football because they know how much money that's bringing in, and it's like you still like they risking their life off the field, but now like you have to watch them and test them so much, like you can risk their health with the whole thing. So it's like you gotta compensate these guys.
Well, and the university presidents won't say it, but sometimes the sports is what brings most of their money into the university.
That's why they're pushing so hard.
March Madness,
football. They didn't have football. These schools would have lost so much money.
And I would say it has to be a pool, right? Although Football may bring the most, basketball may bring a large amount. I think it should be a pool of money for the athletes. Not saying it should be equal distribution, but to an extent, it kind of should be. You know what I'm saying? Because,
it should.
like you said, the time you put into your sport, normally you're going all out. You know, although you have the allowable time. If you're a true professional in your sport, you're putting in other study time. You're doing time that's not associated, but it's still helping you become the best athlete you can be.
Exactly.
So yes, I feel like there should be financial compensation for those individuals, right? Because they are not the normal student at the school.
They're not.
You know what I'm saying? And for the major programs, the Alabamas, the Auburns, the Floridas, those ones that bring in millions. I mean,
they bring more than the pros. They bring more than the pros.
Tapping on billions, like, yeah, I mean, that organization would not be what it is if it wasn't for the athletes. And then you give them a degree and then, all right, see you when I see you. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So, I mean, in my opinion, they should be paid. Now, it's going to be kind of up to the institutions. And I don't know if NCAA wants to even tap into that because they're so big on the amateurism. But at some point, like you said, you've got to find a way to compensate them outside of that degree. Because some of those guys, I know in the 90s was a big scandal in Arkansas, right? Where all these athletes were coming and not a single one of them got a degree. But they were coming there, bringing all that money to the institution, playing basketball, and none of them got a degree. So what are they there for? You know what I'm saying?
Well, and Andre, I want to ask you, do you think they should be paid off of their likeness? Because we all pretty much agree.
Yeah, that's the key part right there. I mean, how should these players get compensated, you know? And then you have different schools who bring in more money than other schools. I think that's going to change the game a little bit because if it was me, I want to go to a school that's paying more.
Yeah,
exactly.
I want to go to like, you know, like Averett or ODU, you know, a smaller school. I want to go to a larger university.
Exactly.
So that's going to change the game too if they start getting paid.
I think the likeness adds another dimension, right? Because that's when you get into individualism, right? Because the NCAA, game is a likeness. It is you. Your likeness, right? Now, right now, they're trying to make it so that it's just a number and a player. But like you just said, that was what happened with the O'Bannon brothers, right? That's how the whole likeness thing came about, right? Was they had, the O'Bannon brothers on this video game, and they didn't receive a dime, but you have them on this game, right? So I guess that's where you can get into the individualism. Is your likeness. If somebody wants to pay you for your likeness for a game, that's where you as an individual, you make a little bit more money. But I think across the board, if you play a sport, it should be kind of equal pay.
I think it should, because if you think about it, if they had the whole likeness rule now, and while Zion was in college, Zion would be a millionaire before he would.
But no, that's another problem too. Is like likeness is like people are like, okay, like I need to do something, so they might show out and start acting a fool, and then you have all these athletes who sit here just trying to be popular.
Exactly,
they get a popularity status.
It's not about the team. It's about I gotta have my individual stats padded. You know what I'm saying?
But the thing about it, that's what the pros is about. So it's like, again, if they do that based off likeness, I think they will cause a lot of tension within the team.
In the beginning, it's something, because it's so new, you're gonna have to work its kinks out, and there's even elements of that we're not even thinking about because it's not here yet. So when it actually hits, but I think it definitely should be explored. I think it's worth being explored, because for some of those guys, like if you think about it, think of those guys that were like studs in college and were flukes in the NFL or in the NBA or whatever. So that is their best time. You know what I mean? So,
well, fellas, we can all agree on that. We can agree that athletes should get paid. Can we all agree on that?
Right.
Equally, all athletes should get paid. Collegiate athletes should get paid equally. So look, we're gonna close up this topic and move on to the next one. Thank you for tuning in to the R Smooth Club.
You suffer from patchiness or irritation and want a fuller beard? Rugged Evolution features 16 amazing balms, oils, shampoos, and accessories. For more information, go to ruggedevo.com.
And remember, rugged is the new smooth.
Alrighty, so welcome back to the R Smooth Club. I am your guy, the Dapper Luke. So, hey guys, I got to really, this is going to completely shift gears from where we were just a second ago. And I'm going to talk to you guys about relationships, right? So me personally, I've been married for 16 years, right? So I'm going to bring my guy Gavin into this, to kind of start it off, right? Newly engaged, right? So what led you to be like, okay, she's the one. I'm going to propose to her, right? And then for the rest of my guys, if you're not in a relationship, like, what are you looking for to be like, okay, she's that one for me. I'm going to propose to her, right? So what kind of led you to that moment?
Well, I always say I was really, really fortunate because I was in my last semester of my senior year, right? Last semester of my senior year, I wasn't even thinking about because I wasn't, talking to anybody. I was just like, hey, let me graduate. I'll find a special someone once I'm out of there. Because really my mindset was on my business. I started creating my business when I was a sophomore in college. So really from my business to graduate, that was all I was thinking about. And then God sent an angel. I had one. Hey, I had one class.
God.
Let me tell you something, man. Let me tell you something. My school started.
She did all your homework for you? No.
Anyway, but no, my school had started they had established a swim program, and she was a transfer from another school out in South Carolina. And I saw the posters because it was like big announcements like on the websites and like when you walk around campus, we got a swim program. So I'm like, okay, she's cute. Boy, I lucked up and had one class with her my last semester, one class. And she approached me first because I was a nervous dude, man. You never see me approach a girl first. That's just me. I'm still to that laugh. I was always nervous. And so she approached me and said that hey, I told her if you need help with this class, I've had this teacher a lot because he taught multiple other classes. I'm like, hey, I can help you out. Little did I know she was already an honor student in the high honors. So I'm like barely making B average. So I'm like, yeah, fool me. I'm thinking I'm all smart helping you out, man. She already knew what was up. But really at that time I was looking for brains, someone that was just as strong as a hustler. Almost like my mother. I almost kind of wanted to have tactics from a mom standpoint. As weird as it sounds, but it's like my mom is a workhorse, provider, all that good stuff. And I want to have her to meet me at that same point. I want to
match your energy
and match my energy. Exactly. I was very hungry. I wanted to always work hard. I want her to be the same way. Again, she was smart. She was a believer. She was a Christian, which it helped me. And again, she was a hustler. And on top of that, she was very beautiful. So she was very beautiful. She's big on staying active, which that's something I need help with. So I'm like, hey, look, you can help improve me. And it was just it was awesome. That was really my main goals in looking for that special someone. And she came from an awesome family, man. I mean, I love them to death. And again, I always say I was fortunate because I wasn't even looking. I was like, I will find that special someone. It might take me a year, 6 years, whatever. Hey, he got me right on the cusp, right on like the second to last month of that semester, and I found her. So that was very fortunate to have her. So hopefully we will definitely be wedding bells really simple. Yeah, we engaged and enjoying the engagement time right now.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So for you other guys, like what he kind of said he wasn't even looking, right? So I mean, I don't know if you guys are looking right now, but what would be that one thing that would kind of be like, what? Yeah, I need to go ahead and just lock her up. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So for me, I'm currently single right now.
Okay.
But for me, it's like that ride or die. I know that sounds kind of ghetto.
Cliche.
Right. Ride or die. But kind of like what you said, Arrington, it's like that mother, that has that same values like trust, honesty, respect, loyalty. And you can see a future with that person. That's the biggest thing. And then I see relationships as, having your best friend.
Gotcha.
If you can establish a good friendship in the start and it leads into a relationship, that's perfect. I mean,
okay, all right. I got an interesting perspective on that when I'm gonna say mine to the very end. I'm gonna say mine to the very end.
For me, I've been with my girl for like 6 months now, and like this is the one where it's like when we first like met or whatever, I didn't think it would really work, just because like I mean she's like a popular like Instagram kind of model, and so
it's
like
very physical.
Yeah,
she's very beautiful.
Yeah,
okay.
And so like that is just like with that whole persona comes with like
just gotta look it up.
comes with like the like attention and like me, but like she's not like that at all. Like she gets paid for the stuff, so like she doesn't. I told her when I first met her, I was like, look, I'm not gonna treat you like that. You just
yeah.
And like we have like a whole connection, and like it's the best relationship that I've ever been in. So like having like a good head on your shoulders and like you get that attention, but you don't let it go to your head.
Gotcha.
Like that's like a big thing for me is like you can know who you are, but then you gotta still
I mean, essentially she's gotta see it as a business, right?
Yeah.
That person, and then what we have is me and you. I'm not your fan. I'm not one of these like, you know. Yes, and we have to be on equal footing.
Yeah, and so we're just very like, I love it. I love it because like I like it's like before her, I was at the point where it's like I'll put myself out there a little bit more because I was like a picky guy, and then like right before her, I was like, man, like I don't know, like I'm gonna just chill, I'm gonna just do my own thing, like go back to doing that, and then she popped up, and then it's just been ever since. So,
yeah.
So
I mean, so I'm gonna give you know my perspective, right? So I've been married, like I said, 16 years. I gotta say that number because if I say it incorrect, my wife's gonna come at me. But you know, like for me, I'm gonna tell you what kind of was my thing. First and foremost, like people say, you know, a guy, you know, it's got to be, you know, physically attracted to her, and then if he's right, he's gonna know, like he's gonna lock it up, you know, within, you know, the next day. Because they'd be like, I dated this guy for 2 years, he met a girl for 6 months, and he proposed to her, right? But for me, you know, and I think you hit on a little bit, right? Like hints of your mother, what you see in your mother, you have to kind of see in that person,
Absolutely.
right?
Yep.
Right. You've got to feel as though, you know, my mother, you know, raised me, brought me to this point, right? So how is this person not necessarily competing with her, but she's going to replace her to an extent in your life. And if you don't see that in her, I don't think it's going to work. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you don't feel as though, you know, she can kind of fill that mold. But I will say this also, right? You talked about like your best friend, right? My wife is not my best friend. Right? She's not. My wife, she knows that, right? My wife is not my best friend. However, we are very compatible, right? And the one thing that I always try to do with my wife, we have our time, we have family time, and we got get the hell out of my face time. Like literally, like you have to have those 3 levels, right? So I just will simply say with anybody that's going to be that one, like you've got to have that connection, but at the same time, don't focus everything on that person, because to me, overall, I feel as though my time with my wife is very important. My time away from my wife is very important. If I didn't have the 2, I don't think we could have ever existed together. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to be so reliant on my partner that I can't live without them, and vice versa.
Right.
I don't want her to feel like if she's not with me, then she's not feeling it. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, overall, the one person you bring in, it's just got to be compatible. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely,
It's got to be, you know, good to you. But, you know, hey, that's really good stuff, fellas. I mean, it's interesting for me to see that perspective from you guys. And like I said, having been in a relationship that I am, you know, it's awesome. So, hey, that's my, you know, take on relationships. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Our Smooth Club. See you all in a little bit.
Welcome back. The next topic we're going to talk about, guys, is travel. That's my wheelhouse.
Okay.
Travel.
Right.
So I want to know.
Travel king himself.
Yep, that's me. So one thing I want to ask the 3 of you is, what are your 3 bucket list places to go, or that you want to go to?
Cuba. Cuba's one. I'm a big fan of.
Is that for the cigars? Or
that's one. I mean, it's the cigars, you know,
The culture.
Absolutely,
that's
man.
what I want to go for.
It's always about the culture. What place I would love to visit. So I would say Cuba, Italy. That's always been on my bucket list, and I've never gone to Hawaii. So
Never been to Hawaii.
I've never been to Hawaii, man. I've had opportunities to go,
great,
man. But I always want to go to
I
Hawaii.
know.
So
It's
that's the place that I'm just. Oh man, I would say those are my 3 places. But yeah, cigars. Definitely gotta have a Cuban cigar visit. I think they have like a distillery out there too. So I'm like,
a bunch of them. Yeah.
oh my gosh, I definitely want to check that out. Again, Italy. I mean, come on, who doesn't want to visit Italy? I love Italian food. I love wine. Visit that. Hawaii. I always wanted to go.
Yeah, love it, man.
I'm not gonna go near them volcanoes, but I will. You know, like to visit Hawaii. So those are my 3 bucket list places I would like to visit.
I'm gonna probably number 1's probably Tokyo, man.
Ooh.
I
Just
love
Tokyo Drift.
Yeah,
I'm about to say.
If I go over there, I might have to bring
to get you a doggone skyline.
Yeah, exactly.
Go
Might
to the
have to
city.
bring a car or two
Did you
back.
get a rental that's a smart car? What?
No, it's definitely got to bring a skyline back. But there, like the food, I love sushi and stuff.
Okay.
Like the whole culture. And number 2 is probably Bali.
Okay.
The views I've always seen of Bali, just like
Mhm.
it's just so relaxing. Like I like the warm weather. The warm weather, that's for me. The beach, everything, the water, and then I might go with you with the Italy.
Yeah, man, I'm telling you, man.
Italy,
That's
like I
where it's
love Italian food because I've been to Hawaii. That's definitely I would definitely go back there.
Bali,
So relaxing.
100%.
Bali, is that the place that has like what police cars are like like
That's
Bugattis and all
Dubai.
that? Oh, Dubai. Oh, my bad.
Bali is in the Middle East. That's like over there when friggin' like Thailand and all that. That's
Yeah.
Oh,
that's
okay,
like
okay.
that's
It's
where you
been
go
a
down with the
while since I've been, so
elephants.
I wasn't good
and
at
all that,
geography,
take
guys.
an elephant ride.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, for me, first and foremost would be probably Egypt. You know, I definitely I love history, so I would want to go to Egypt and kind of see the pyramids. My next one will probably be somewhere along the lines of like Tanzania. Like I definitely want to go to African safari. Like I just love that.
yeah.
I feel like that's one of those things that is here, but it's kind of going away. So I definitely want to kind of still get that aspect of it. And then finally, you know, as a fashion guy, I probably want to go to France. Like, I just love, I want to go to probably one of the French fashion weeks, right? So in the world, you know, you have Italy, you've got France, and you've got New York. So I've been in New York Fashion Week. I probably want to go to a French Fashion Week in Paris. So basically, I just kind of, the history portion, because definitely I love, you know, like I said, Egypt. I love the safari. Who knows how long they're going to be around with all the hunting and the gaming and things like that. And then, of course, I got to sprinkle my fashion on there, you know, with the France, Paris.
Okay.
So good
Right.
stuff for me.
Yeah, that's like me too. I'm big on culture, travel, food. Food is my big thing too.
Yeah,
I'm a
yeah.
big foodie. But my 3 places are Dubai.
Okay.
Yeah, I just seen over the years how that place has grown has blew my mind. The
Yeah.
glitz and glam, like I want to experience all of that too. South Africa is another place.
Yeah, I've been there. Been there. Good
You been to
place.
Cape Town?
I've been to Cape Town
Oh,
and
I'm
Johannesburg.
I'm
I've been to Cape Town
jealous.
and Johannesburg. I did the doggone swim with the sharks out there. Ridiculous, but yeah.
You're crazy. You're crazy.
I don't know if I would
be
do
real.
I'm in
that.
a cage, you know, but even that cage, you like, does this really?
You start biting the cage like,
Is this
aluminum?
What metal is this made out of? Is this adamantium? Like,
Man, no. Don't put me in no cage.
I know. When I went to Hawaii, I did the dolphins. Swim with the dolphins. That scared me. Anyway.
I said, oh,
I know, that's how it was. You should see the outtakes from the video.
Hey man, 6 feet.
And my last place would be Australia.
Okay.
Okay.
I've been there as
I would
well.
like that.
I've been there as
Yeah,
well.
never been there either.
Sydney.
I went
Sydney.
to Darwin, which is the Northern Territory. But
Mhm.
yeah, good place, man. And the one thing that I flew into Sydney and then we flew up to Darwin, right? Which is, like I said, Northern Territory. I went there with the Australian Army. And when I was up there, I was training with the Australian Army, right? But the one thing that I loved about it was Darwin is like a really big backpacking area, right? So you see all these foreigners, right? So they were all coming in, right? And just a quick little story, right? So when I was in Darwin, they had this one row of bars, right? And I'm in there and there's this young lady, she's a bartender, you know, somewhat attractive, somewhat. So I just remember talking to her and I was like, man, everybody in here has an accent, right? But she's like, yeah, everybody in here has an accent. She's like, you got an accent, right? And I had to like pause, like, okay, yes, I'm from America. So I guess to you, I have an accent, yes. So, you know, but I was like,
Wasn't thinking sorry. Wasn't
I don't
thinking.
have an accent.
Wasn't
You
thinking.
have an accent. And I was like, I'm in Australia. I guess in Australia, I do have an accent. So yes, gotcha.
I would definitely always want to visit Australia because I was a big fan of Crocodile.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. That's what, he made me want to say, "Oh my god, I gotta visit that place,
Right.
man." He's just, I mean,
That's not a knife.
Exactly.
That's a knife.
I gotta visit that place, man. Oh my god, that's all I can think of, man.
Australia was definitely one of my, like when I was younger, I said, man, I want to go to Australia. And then like you see like them bugs.
Yeah.
Right, right.
Oh,
And you're like, I'm gonna stay in this plane right here.
Another quick little story, right? So when I was in Australia. I was there with the Australian Army, right? So we had to go do a training mission with the Australian Army. So we were in the bush, right? And we were sleeping in sleeping bags.
Oh.
And I remember waking up, right? Because I heard this bird flapping its wings, right? And in my mind, I'm like, is that a pterodactyl? Like, how big is this bird? Like, I could hear the wings flapping. And I'm like, what bird is this, right? But yeah, they got some crazy wildlife. I just remember like, oh my, is that a pterodactyl? Are there dinosaurs out here? Like, what is going on? So good stuff. But yes, definitely Australia, definitely a must-visit place. I agree. And then I didn't get to go there, but I hear it's amazing. The Gold Coast, which is in Australia.
Yes.
That's where they do a lot of surfing and all of that. So yeah, man.
Yeah, that's one thing about travel. It makes you a storyteller. When you get there.
yeah.
Yes, indeed.
Oh,
Yes,
gosh.
indeed.
Oh, yeah.
Gosh, yep. So we'll be back after a few minutes.
Awesome.
Welcome back, guys. I think we had a great discussion today.
As
Always
always,
good,
as
fun
always.
topics
Yep.
with you guys.
Yes, indeed.
Be sure to follow us on Rugged Evo TV on YouTube. Throw us a subscribe, like, comment. Let us know what type of topics you want us to talk about. And I just want to propose a toast to us, but
Yes.
to the guys like you, the guys where you can sit around, have a drink, have a discussion about a topic. You know,
Absolutely.
I mean, it's always good to take one off and just relax with the fellas and just discuss.
And enjoy a good drink too
like
as
it.
well.
No
So,
doubt.
let's-
Yes, sir.
Cheers.
We'll see you next time.
Come on.